Hello. You guys gotta tell me if my volume is too loud or too soft. Goat, haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you. Dr. Custard, Naomi. We're doing a outside the box Q&A location. I was a wee bit unwell the last few days. Roy, how's it going? What's up, everybody? Harley's here. Come here, Harley. Come here. Can't really see him, but he's here. Gab, how's it going? Whoa. Super Bowl pick. I don't know who's playing, but I'm on your team, Goat. Whoever you think is going to win. Micah loves it. What's up? Micah loves it. Let me open this. Let me open this chest right now, so I don't forget. Let's get this. Give this thing a shot here. Celebrate with fans. How does this work? Bam. Wait, that do it? Distribute rewards. Okay, they're gonna get distributed right now. Harley, the mic is a little loud. Okay, cool. Bring it down. Thank you for telling me. Let's try that. See if that's better. Where you at? I'm at a Starbucks. That's between. It's on the outskirts of Houston, but in that direction back of College Station. Alistair Reed. Hi, Michael. Shelby. Lots of driving. Way too much driving. I don't know if you guys caught this, but Ethan, we got halfway to Houston. He realized he forgot his passport. So we had to drive back and have someone bring it to us halfway. Or, like, not halfway, but just meet us between College Station and where we were, get the passport, and then go all the way back to Houston. And then I have to go back after this. So obviously I wasn't going to be back in time for the 9 p.m. Q&A. Or like your little too close question, what do you think about listening to your podcast with Brian and Simon? I didn't like listening to the part where I talked that much, partially because I felt like the audio for me was like really bad. I think that I don't know, I just sounded really tinny, so I didn't physically enjoy listening to that. But also, obviously I know what I said, so it wasn't that enjoyable to go like listen to what I said. But I really liked listening to their like speculations and stuff. That was my favorite part. Do you think this project is like a double standard type of thing, where it would be easier for a guy to do this than a girl? I think that in some senses it would be easier, but I also think on the other hand, if a girl did this, she would be incredibly famous by now. Not to complain about my position whatsoever, but I think that there are advantages to probably each gender approaching this. It's safer to do it as a guy, but it's you could become famous a lot faster if you were a girl, I think. First time here. Cool. Parker saved the day. Indeed, Parker helped out a lot. Jillian, how do you feel about live streaming your whole life on a streaming platform? I feel good. I think it would be easier for a girl to do this, Alistair. Is there a social activity that you enjoy that we haven't been able to see because of the stream? I like cliff jumping and skiing. Those are two social activities I enjoy that I can't really do at the stream. I could technically do both of them, but it wouldn't be doing them the same way that I like to do them, and so it wouldn't really be fun, and I'm sure that makes sense. That was none of my food, so I won't be eating anymore. Anything exciting coming up? Big plans. I think I have a couple people. My mom is visiting this month. Maddie's probably visiting. Davey's coming back this month. But nothing crazy. Learning some piano songs. Fact. You seem to be enjoying driving the new car. How do you like it so far? I love the car. I still don't like driving at all. But if I was going to drive something, I definitely feel very comfortable driving that compared to other vehicles. I definitely feel like that would be like the case with that not safe for work portion. I think it would be the case with all of it. Do you think this project will inspire someone to attempt the same thing? I think that if it doesn't directly inspire it, it will be the predecessor to a lot of people doing similar things. In my opinion, I think a lot of people will be doing things like this at some point. If so, do you think that that would be something you would find interesting to watch and follow? Yeah, absolutely. I did this project. I do everything in my life because it's like, if it's something that I would want to see, if I'm going to make something, I would want to make something that I would want to see someone else make. So this project was like the ultimate culmination of that. I couldn't think of like a more interesting idea that I would want to watch and follow. Michael, you seem to be very focused on everything you do. What do you do to maintain that level of focus? I don't know how to answer that. Just kind of put yourself in a position where you don't have any choices, and I don't know. If you tell yourself that you have to do something, then you're more likely to do it, and then you're probably gonna be focused. I don't know. I don't think I can give any good advice there. I'm probably not the most focused person. What time is it now there? It is 9:06. How long have you had your dog? Oh shoot, we're a little behind here. I've had him for about 3 or 4 months. Do you know Harley's point of view about this project? Harley, I don't even know his point of view about the car yet. Naomi, you wouldn't be able to fly on a plane, of course. That is true. Have you ever changed your mind about doing anything because you didn't feel like being watched doing it in that instant? Yeah, I mean, yes is the answer to that, but a specific example, like I mentioned this in a previous Q&A, like I'm a really bad singer, and but I would probably like practice singing along or just like mess around like singing to things if I was just like practicing piano on my own, but I haven't really done that this year that much, but I don't really think that's a big thing, and wouldn't even necessarily be able to say that. I certainly would be doing that if I wasn't live streaming. Hello, what is your best hangover remedy? Drinking a lot of water. Question, in line with the unfiltered interaction you had on stream, there were conversations captured suggesting explicit requests from your fans on various occasions. One in particular is about your Houston trip, which is supposed to happen this weekend. Can you share some detail about this meetup, who the person was, and why it was canceled? Sure. I wrote about this a little bit in the newsletter, which if you guys aren't patrons, you wouldn't have accessed, so I'm happy to share. Basically, someone like wanted to meet up and hang out with me and Ethan, and it sounded cool. It sounded like a fun thing to do this weekend. And since I was already going to be like out of the house because of the Airbnb, and then Ethan already had to go on a flight on Sunday, it was just like, oh, like that would be kind of a convenient timing to be in Houston, and everything about it just seemed like a good idea. But as the plan unraveled a little bit more, it seemed like our intentions were like not aligned perfectly in a way that would make it a worthwhile trip. So I just decided not to go, and definitely was not a big deal or big decision. It was like about the same weight decision that I put into like what I was going to order from Starbucks, maybe. Question, what is your favorite board game? Monopoly. Gideon, your podcast actually called your stream your art and your baby. You already described it as your baby. Do you see this as your art? If so, in what way? I think that life is like, I mean, this is cliche, and I'm definitely not the first person to say this in any way of saying it, but I think that life is like the ultimate art, and so to like capture it and present it back as art is ironic and artistic. So, where do you see yourself in 10 years? Couldn't tell you. What's on the table? Just my computer stuff, sweatshirt, phone, tea. Why and when do you start live streaming everyday life? I started January 1st because I thought it was an interesting idea and nobody else was doing it. Do you think you'll ever consider going back to college again? I've talked about this a lot. I don't think that I want to go back to college at this point because of what I see college as at this point. I don't think it's like it just doesn't align with any of my interests. So either college would have to change or I would have to change in terms of what I want to make that a possibility and something I consider. 10 years hopefully does it for another year. If a celebrity chose to do this project, who would you most like to see? That's a good question. I don't know. I couldn't answer that. It's a really good question. Have you ever decided to do anything purely for the entertainment of your viewers, like you knew they would enjoy it? I don't know if it's... I wouldn't say I've ever done anything purely for the entertainment of my viewers, but things like if I'm going to Ethan's room and I'm going to like go say hi, then I might go in and like just bring a random object and like just, I don't know, like try and turn it into something funny. But I also don't think that's out of line with what I usually do in my interactions with Ethan. I don't know. I don't think I've ever done anything specifically for the entertainment of my viewers, except for maybe these Q&As that could count. What do you feel about the podcast conclusion or speculation towards the end, especially what Simon said that you might self-destruct after the project? What can you say about it? I felt like the wording was not exactly clear in terms of what direction, like the self-destruction. I don't know. Also, maybe I just didn't like listen well enough and understand it. I don't think that anything's impossible. Everybody in the world. If you would ask yourself a question, what question would you ask? I think I would ask myself, if I was a viewer and I was watching this, I would ask, do you like doing this? To which I would say, yeah. I do, most of the time. Once Upon a Time in College Station podcast is a great development. The hosts are so insightful. Did you expect that their opinions and insights would start to influence you more and more? That's a good question. I do think that they do more and better analysis of the project than I do. And so I really like listening to that because they oftentimes bring something up or say something that I've never thought of or like come to a conclusion that I had not. And I think that's great. I'm going to tell them that if they're not watching this. I think you should do it for a full year every decade of his life. When you started the project, did you expect such a community to grow in the YouTube chat? Absolutely not. I had no expectation of that. What are your feelings about the community? I love the community. I think it's the best community I've ever seen on YouTube or any platform for any creator, period. It's my opinion, obviously, but never seen anything like it. I had no idea that this would be such an important aspect of the project, but important it is. It's really important. You should avoid listening to post-interview commentary on the podcast for the sake of the project. It'll mess with your brain, won't it? Maybe, but that's just part of the That's part of the project. If someone makes a podcast about you, you're going to listen to it. And that is an aspect of my life now. Mad respect to you for giving him alcohol, caffeine at some point in this project. Do you think it changed the way you go through your day knowing a camera is attached to you? Thank you, Fez. Do you think it changed the way... Yeah, well, physically it changes some things. Obviously, I have to take more precautions about where I go and just physically how my body moves to keep the camera from shaking and things like that. But I wouldn't be able to analyze like if my daily habits and schedule and like all that is influenced by the stream until the stream is off, because I don't really know. Like, I've lived for so long and I like kind of gotten into habits while having the stream on that I don't know. I hope that makes sense. Why you never take off your watch? Lol. It's so good to know the time. It would be so good. It would be like a long snapshot of 1 year or so. Yeah, Naomi had some cool ideas. That would be depressing because it'd be a reminder of getting older. That's not only depressing if you think that getting older is depressing. What will be your motivation and goal once the stream ends? You said you reached a point where nothing seems doing this. That's what happens when the stream ends. It's a totally good question. Thought about it like today after the podcast, and I don't really know. I just hope that something captivates me. I mean, I'm gonna start like playing more piano after the stream ends, but like I honestly don't think that's something that I care enough about to encapsulate my entire life force and motivate me to get up every day and like take on life. So I have no idea. We'll find out. It's something that we'll only be able to see after the year is over. If you were invited to have your own TED talk, what would be your subject matter, introduction, data references, and conclusion? It's a complicated question. I could probably do... I don't know. I don't think I could do a TED talk right now. I don't think I like know enough about anything to talk about. You know what? I would have to do the physical instruction manual for how to live stream your life. That would be the only information I could present that no one else has that I have like a good grasp on. It's like how mechanically and technologically to do it and what changes you have to make to your life. That's what I would do. Following up on the scary bike incident this week, what do you think could be done in College Station or any town city to improve things in terms of cyclist safety, better education, signage? That's a really good question. I think that the only thing that I could think of that would actually make sense is just kind of like talking about it more and like making it more of a thing to look both ways before you pull out, because that's really all it is. It's only looking both ways before you pull out of like a space or whatever. Just you instead of checking just one direction of traffic, you look and make sure there are no pedestrians. That's it. If you do that, you're not going to hit a cyclist or a pedestrian or anyone, or a dog and a cyclist together. Since you most of the time eat healthy, what's the least healthy thing you enjoy? The least healthy thing I enjoy. Wow, that's a good question. That I enjoy. There's like a point where once things reach like a level of unhealthiness, I start to enjoy them. Cookie dough probably would be a good example. I like cookie dough. That's very unhealthy. It makes me feel gross immediately. Last time I had the cookies that Davey and Ethan made, I almost threw up that night. My stomach was so bloated and painful, and I felt terrible. But I mean, it's worth it once in a while. You know, go through the pain, enjoy something. But for the most part, I actually don't like. I don't like eating unhealthy things that much. A majority of unhealthy things. Like really unhealthy things. I like a lot of things that are like in the middle territory, I guess. Would you consider using the popularity you are getting to start and promote your own musical project? I don't know. I mean, I've done musical projects in the past that have like largely been unsuccessful, but I don't know if like promoting them would have made them more successful. I kind of want anything I do to like be successful. I don't know. I wouldn't want to become like famous for music because I had an audience from doing a project like this, if that makes sense. If I wanted to like have music that was successful and like a lot of people knew it and listened to it and liked it, then I would want that to happen because they liked the music a lot on their own, and like they found it and listened to it and enjoyed it. That's a like very thin distinction, but I think it's important. I don't ever want to make like YouTuber music, if that makes sense. That's kind of a like colloquial term, but it's. I only want to make good things, and I would want to be known for them being good. What are you doing on your laptop all day? A lot of it is like working, either like answering messages or like editing streams or editing podcasts, recently I was editing the vlog, so a lot of it's that. Some of it's like just research on things related to this. I would majority of like 90% is related to the stream, and then 10% is either just like watching YouTube videos or doing something completely separate, or just like I don't know, things, checking my bank account and like dealing with financial things and that type of stuff too. Oh man. What's one of your pet peeves that you wish you could get rid of because it hampers your enjoyment of life? Maybe having like meaningless conversations. I would probably be happier if I could have like a bunch of meaningless conversations, but I have a really hard time with that. And a lot of my conversations devolve immediately because I want them to like be of some substance, and then once I realize there's no substance, then it's just, or like the other side's like, why did you ask me this weird probing question? Like, you should be talking about sports. I don't know. I don't know if that's a good answer at all. But shallow conversations are definitely a pet peeve of mine. Do you know your IQ? No, I don't. How are you, Michael? Johnny B. Why is Mama Beth? Oh, I'm good. A little bit tired, but happy to be here answering questions. Why is Mama Beth such a god? That's a great question, Goat. Are there any weird or bad habits you have you've only noticed after you started this project? Weird or bad habits? I noticed my posture was a lot worse than I expected it to be. So, slouching, which I still do, but I'm better than I was in the beginning of the year. You like to travel. Would you perhaps consider doing occasional one day in the life at a particular travel destination or something like that? Yeah, I mean, I think I would consider doing a lot of things in media, like ideas like that. But I probably wouldn't do it immediately, like within the first month after this project ends. What else do you stream besides Twitch? I stream to YouTube and DLive. Why do you like to cook your food a tad charred? Not judging, but I notice the food you make is always well done. I like things to be crispy on the outside and just like barely cooked enough on the inside. I think it's a texture thing mostly. Do you find that having the not safe for work stream changes any of your washroom habits? No, I try to think pretty consciously about that because sometimes I'm doing something and I'm like, I really just want to like, it's weird because mentally I'm not thinking about like performing or like what angle I'm like drying my body off and stuff, but I'm like, am I doing this differently than I would normally do it? And I feel like I check in with myself a lot, whereas I don't do that as much with normal stuff. But then again, there are more eyes on the bathroom stream, so. But no, I haven't changed any of my habits. I broke my. Oh no, that's not that part of the question. Compare thirsty texts you get from guys, thirsty texts you get from girls. I don't know if I get a lot of thirsty texts from girls. The reason I can't really answer that is because I don't know who's a real girl and who is a catfish. So Couldn't give you a good answer. They might all be the exact same. Which of your personality traits has been the most useful? Maybe like adaptation, like being able to adaptability. I don't know. Sounds like a fun game. Personality is a study in contrast, settling between introverted exhibitionist and introspective extrovert. Where exactly on that spectrum do you think you lie? I guess I think that former is a lot more true than the latter. Since you are taking tips from Patreon members on a USA trip, does the city need to be accessible via car? Is a flight even a possibility? It does have to be accessible via car. If you objectively put yourself in the shoes of the old ladies in the truck, what do you think their point of view was in terms of what happened? That's a good question, and I obviously thought about it because I want to understand their point of view. I think that from the get-go, they thought that I was in the wrong, so that's why they were mad. Didn't give them any right to yell at the window, like what they said, which was rude and immature of a woman of that age. And then I think that when they saw me coming back to talk to them, then they were probably nervous, fearful, and wanted to leave the situation quickly because they realized that they shouldn't have said that. And maybe they even realized that they were in the wrong pulling in there without looking for a crossing pedestrian. And then when I approached them and then we were talking, I think that they went to probably some sort of maybe felt like they were being attacked unjustly, but the dog's looking super weird. But I think that so they probably went into like a little bit of survival mode, like just kind of raising their voices back at me and just sticking to their guns. But they're wrong. Obviously, they're wrong. And people are mad. I don't know why people are mad about this. There's too much controversy about this. Those ladies were wrong. You'd have to look when you cross or when you pull in. It doesn't matter what side of the sidewalk you're on. Even if there were bike lanes, I could still be on the sidewalk and it'd be completely legal. And it's not legal to hit a cyclist or a pedestrian of any kind. It's wrong. And those ladies were wrong, and they were extremely wrong to yell at me. And if you had been in as many situations like that as I had been, 90% of people would have thrown their bike through that windshield. I guarantee you. I'm just letting you know. It's a frustrating thing to have happen to you a lot of times. And very dangerous. Do you not earn anything from views on YouTube? I do not, Casey. Touche B. What did B say? Trina made a song. She has the world's best. What will be your motivation or goal once the stream ends? Your reach point. Yes. I think I answered that. So I don't really have a goal or motivation. I talked about making a documentary about the project. That's probably will be the next big thing that I take on, but it won't be that big of a thing probably compared to this project. So it has to be asked in 2019. What was the last thing you regretted doing? That's a good question. I don't know if this was really in my control because it didn't even cross my mind, but this morning I didn't wake up to my alarm because I set it for weekdays only. This is a stupid answer, so I missed my alarm. I regretted that. I should have woken up earlier and been to the podcast on time. Simply checking both ways before you pull up make a big difference. What's a big favor you've done for a friend? How about a big favor the friend's done for you? A big favor I've done for a friend. I've done a couple like financial favors for Ethan, and Ethan has done a couple like sort of like sacrificing comfort and time favors for me. I wouldn't want to go too far into specifics, but I've gotten cookie dough poisoning before. Avoid raw flour. Fair enough. I knew you were going to say cookie dough. We are best friends. I know we're not. When you reset your taste buds, you crave healthier food. It's true. And junk just doesn't taste as good. I need to do that. I'm too fond of junk food. It takes a long time, by the way, to do that. It takes like 3 months. It's hard. And you have to really avoid those cravings for a long time in order to reset your taste buds. Just so you know, if you're considering doing it, don't give up after a month. Nothing will change. I need to do that. Does Q&A have a different vibe because you're in public? Maybe not in public, but I'm sure it has a different vibe. I mean, I'm staring at like a phone light in my face, and I don't know. It is a different vibe out here than it is in my room, so that's why I fast for a few days every so often. I find myself eating like crap. Who's been one of your favorite artists this year? I enjoy finding music, and you've turned me onto Matt Mason. I recommend it. Me, so you never listen to them. Okay, cool. I'll screenshot that. Favorite artist this year? In the beginning of the year, I listened to a lot of Voila, which is one of my it's a group that one of my friends is in. It's really good. You guys should check them out. It's Voila, the A has like the accent thing. And then a lot of Token, who's a rapper. And then recently I've been getting into I listen to a lot of Logic for working out. Logic and Token both. And then recently I've been liking Sorority Noise. And wow, I don't even remember it's too bad. Oh, Violent Soho. Yeah. I like those. And Rainbow Kitten Surprise or something. I found them too. I really like them. What are your plans for Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year? Probably spend all of them in College Station and just try and have like the most exciting and family, as far as like live stream family coming together times as possible. I'll got something to send you. How often do you go to P.O. Box? About once a week. What would be your top 3 bucket list things you'd like to accomplish in the next year once the stream is over? That's a great question. Wow, that's so hard. I'm definitely really far behind on questions here, and there are a lot of good ones. I could maybe think of one bucket list thing. I can't think of anything. I'm sorry. It's a great question. I'm getting ASMR vibes from this live stream. You talk about your one set in stone. What usually tips you off that a project or activity aligns with your truth? It's just like if it's something I'm interested in or not. I mean, it's like pretty immediately obvious. Obviously, like I'm sort of talking out of my butt with like all that stuff because I don't understand anything about humanity or like how the brain works or anything. Like I can take things that are written from research that scientists are doing now or have done, but like the odds of all that stuff being wrong are as high as they are of it being right. I mean, the half-life of knowledge and like even a lot of scientific fields is kind of short, so I don't actually know anything about what's going on with humanity or our brains or our bodies or why we do what we do, but in terms of like on a surface level, I know pretty immediately if something is something I'm interested in or not, or if want to do something or not, and then it's like pretty difficult for me to do something that I really have no interest in doing, and it's pretty easy for me, and like I feel very motivated in doing things that I do want to do and that I think are important. Do you think there's a lot of meaningless conversations because you get a lot of messages from fans? No, I don't have a lot of meaningless conversations with fans. I mean, some people will message me and be like, "What's up?" or something, and like that's meaningless, and like I don't mean that in a mean way. Like, I'm sorry if that's you, but I just generally, like, if that's how the conversation goes, then at a certain point, I just it's like stop replying, and I don't do that in a mean way. I just don't have anything to really offer. But majority of the people who reach out and contact me about the project just like say nice things, and then they're like, whatever, thanks for doing it, like this is a cool part of it, you should do this or something like that. And but I think that there are more, like, I don't know, there are a lot of meaningless conversations just in normal life, but there are also a lot of not meaningless conversations. Have friends, acquaintances stopped seeing you or talking to you just because they didn't want to be on camera? Yes, a couple, but not a lot. Finally, I know he always cook a high fire. And because I use a lot of oil, it's like frying it instead of like just burning it. It's half and half, but it's a good kind of crispy. Do you have a message for the silent viewers who, for whatever personal reason, have not really participated in the fan community? That's a great question. At least, yeah. Thank you for watching, and I don't know. I don't want to say, like, if you watch it silently and you aren't in the chat, you clearly are a person who has like similar values in terms of not wanting to have like I don't know. Clearly, you have your reasons for doing that, and I could definitely respect that position. That was all a terrible answer to that question. I'm sorry. Thoughtful question, at least. Do you think the end or means is more important? Not a question for me to answer. You said, do you think the podcasters have a better grasp of your project than you? Would you consider soliciting viewer feedback and analysis? Yeah, I think that if there was something that I have done that in the past, but there's nothing like that. If there was something that came up that I wanted feedback on it and like analysis from people and viewers and stuff, then I definitely ask. But if there's nothing that I want analysis or feedback on, then obviously there's nothing for me to ask about. How you doing? Michael always solicits our feedback. Do you get grumpy when you're tired? Lol. Grumpy? I don't know. If I wake up without enough sleep, then I'm grumpy. But if it's like late at night, then I just kind of become like less functional. Good boy. I think he does. Yeah, fair enough. You guys would know. When do you learn the piano? Just sometimes during the day. How old is your dog? 3 years old. 2 or 3. Somewhere in between. I think he's really tired. Have you ever thought about the last moment of streaming is going to be? Yeah. I think it's going to be just a lot of people around and on New Year's, and just going to shut the camera off. Has the project... I used to have different... Has the project made it easier for you to just be yourself, not try to live up to other people's expectations? Man, these are like... I can't answer all these questions. In a good way. There's a lot of really good questions. Yeah, I think in a lot of ways it's made it easier to be myself and not live up to other people's expectations. Yes. That's the answer. How did you develop your patience, perseverance, and genuine niceness, especially to strangers who reach out to you? I don't know. I don't know if I don't even know if I have any of that. I don't know. I don't know how to answer that at all. Probably from like watching my parents. I don't know. I love that question. How would you probably? Oh, I think that I guess a good answer would actually be like, I think it's important to give everyone the benefit of the doubt until they like immediately prove that they don't like whatever aspect of the benefit of the doubt. Once they prove that they don't deserve that section, then you adjust accordingly. But enter with the ultimate respect, assuming that whoever is talking to you is someone who knows a lot more than you do and is just like someone who deserves 100% of your attention and respect. And then if you find that they don't, then adjust accordingly. But a lot of people do deserve a lot. How the project made it easy. How would you probably react if Sam K would try to reconnect with you? He has reached out a couple times, but actually he reached out like twice. The first time I was like, yeah, sure, I'm down to talk, and then I thought about it, and I realized that I wasn't really down to talk because he wasn't offering like any apology or like reparations for the way that he treated me or what went down towards the end of our friendship there. Just like all the bad things that he'd done, which I don't know. This is gonna sound so one-sided, and I don't want to talk about this issue at this point in the year. Being so far away from it, and like it's just you're only listening to my side. But I definitely felt like what he did was messed up, and he owes me an apology, and he's not offering that. So like, what grounds is there to rekindle a friendship when like the person? I don't want to be friends with a person who would act like that and do those things to me. So like, if they're not going to apologize and like recognize that that was wrong and that's not an aspect of their friendship, then I obviously don't want to be friends with that person. And he reached out to Ethan and said like, yo, can you help me like patch things up with Mike? And Ethan said something similar. He was like, yeah, you should probably apologize first, and like then maybe completing some of his Venmo charges or something like that. And he didn't respond to Ethan, so I think that it's clear that he probably feels a lot like those ladies in the truck. And that's just the way things are sometimes. So you spend a lot of time editing your projects. Is editing a profession that you might interest you? I used to. Editing is not a pain in the ass most of the time. I really enjoy it, and I oftentimes get lost in doing it, which is good. It's like an indication of something that you really like if you can get lost in it. I used to do it for a profession for a little bit, and it kind of ruined a couple aspects of it for me, so I took time away from it to regain those aspects and like recapture what I like about it. You brought up you should not be named. If you ever fall in love, if so, describe your worst heartbreak. It's a great question. That's probably one of the only things I really haven't talked about on stream. Are there any moments that happened during this year that you were really thankful was recorded on stream, like special moments, crazy things? Yeah, a lot of things. I mean, everything that I made a highlight of, I'm grateful was recorded on stream. And a lot of things I didn't make highlights of, but tons of moments. I am not looking forward to not having everything on video for my own ability to look at things. I will miss that. Do you think you owe the viewer anything? I think I owe the viewer a continuous live stream of my life for the next 2 months and 4 days? I think that's what I owe. And if people will subscribe to me on Patreon, then I owe them a little bit more. Do you speak other languages? Nope. Except for like made up languages between me and my brother and me and Ethan. But those are basically not languages. What's your favorite music genre? That's a good question. Used to be rap, but I don't really know anymore. I like a lot of things. Very true, I'm hooked on Listen Jags because of you. Yeah, it's a good song. What was the last relationship you have? Last relationship was in, like, the last, I don't know, there have been, like, there have been, like, things that I wouldn't really even consider relationships. Like, I dated someone technically when I was in high school, but, like, I think I literally saw her, like, 3 or 4 times total. Like, she went to a different boarding school, and I mean, that's the gist of it. We had like maybe 1,000 messages back and forth total over the whole span of our relationship. And not that would never say anything bad about her. In fact, like, I was probably a fairly bad person to her, and I like apologized to her recently about that. This is way too deep into this question, but last real relationship I had was in 6th grade, probably, which ironically probably doesn't count as a real relationship because it was in 6th grade. I think the clip of him getting shit on by a bird in North K was great. No one would have ever seen it otherwise. I watched it live. Just learned by your present recently. Very cool. If you're curious, if you read books for enjoyment or learning in your day-to-day life. I do. I don't read a lot this year because my time is kind of... This sounds so stupid because, like, you guys see me lounging all the time, but, like, I guess you only have so much, like, brain power, and so I kind of devote mine to other things, mostly stream-related things, and so reading is not... reading comes second to a lot of those things. How do you feel about the white knights in your community? I don't know what that term is, but tell me. Oh, people who impose their values and opinions on you without... Sorry, should have just read the question first. It's just... People who impose their values and opinions onto you whilst forgetting you are an adult and are capable of making decisions about your life. I don't know. I don't know if there are a lot of those people in here, in my community, which I guess I'm grateful for. There was one person on my bathroom stream whose name is Michael Gary White Knight, but I don't think they've ever exhibited any of that behavior. Favorite scary movie? Dawn of the Dead, which I don't even know if that's technically a scary movie, really scared me for a long time. I'm surprised you know Violent Soho. So that's sick, Burn. That's so cool. Because the guy was practicing. Let's just say a mosh pit is the place to go in New Albany. How do you feel knowing you have viewers in this all over the world? Would you consider visiting your fans outside the U.S.? Sure, yeah. If I was in one of those countries, then I'd love to. What really happened to your original plan for this weekend? I don't know. I can only tell you guys what is like. I can only tell you what happened. I can't like add anything to it that doesn't exist. That was the plan. The plan was to meet up with someone and like hang out in Houston, and then it was like it just became clear that our interests weren't exactly aligned, and so it didn't make as much sense. Music I like isn't conducive to mosh pits. You've made IRL friends with people who started as viewers. Do you have viewers that are kind of your friends now, even if you haven't met them? Yeah, yeah, I do. Absolutely. My music taste is far from mosh pits. Are you really nice to fans, or are you annoyed? Are you really that nice to your fans, or sometimes you are annoyed, but you just feel the need to be polite? I always try and show respect, but if people are annoying, I think I've only blocked like one person on Instagram because I was like, he said like, can I send you pics? And I was like, no, please don't. And then he started sending me pictures, so I was like, all right, I have to block this. But in general, I don't know. Have you ever had a hot teacher? Yes, absolutely. Such a good answer. You're mature. Damn, I don't remember what that... I know that you had a good question, Fez, but I don't remember what it was. But thank you. Anyone else find his voice soothing? Thank you. What if this all ends up as one elaborate and modern process of finding someone special in your life? That would be great. That'd be fantastic. Have you thought about that? Yeah. I think that if you do things that like really align with who you are as a person, then you will find people that are also aligned with those same things, and that's important for finding someone who is aligned with you. And like, I don't mean any of that in like crazy spiritual ways. I just mean like literally, if you have interests, someone who has the same interests, if it's going to say a lot about your personalities. Number one, if you're both pursuing those interests, so there's more similarities, and then you're going to clash. That's what I think. I don't know. I don't know anything about love. Do you expect the quality of your relationships with people you meet through this project to diminish, as in the quality diminishes as you meet more people, or is that just how it goes? No, not really. I think that um, I don't expect to lose like the quality relationships with the people that I have quality relationships with right now, but I think that additional people will probably not be as like fortunate to have the opportunity to establish a quality relationship immediately, like some of the original people obviously were. Also, stop asking questions if you're asking them now. I won't answer any after they are. I'm already behind. But thank you for the questions. I'll try and answer all the rest of these until my computer dies. In the podcast this morning, Gideon described the video clip you were discussing as boring, but it's the right kind of boring. A lot of people have described the project as that. Is this the thing? I don't know. Sorry, Gui Francos, your robot stream doesn't work. I don't know what the thing is. I think the thing is reality, and reality is boring at times. So, in that sense, yes, I think that is the thing. When did you lose your virginity and where? 21 on an LA rooftop. Drummers are hot. Do you promise to wear the cute beanie more often? Only if it's cold. I'm gonna go there. This better not be cut off. Oh, if anybody you copied your project, would you watch their not safe for work stream? Yeah, probably. I think that I would. Josh, you came back. What's up, Josh? I got your message, by the way, Josh. I totally understand. I was going to text you back, but this clearly was all a rush to get the setup. But totally respect what you're saying, and I appreciate you having been a part of the project up to this point. And I think that you should always take your own interests and your getting your personal life straight first before trying to be a part of anything else. So completely respect that. Got a lot to work on internally. It'd be so effing cool and romantic. I'll cry if Michael falls in love after all this, and then it wouldn't be cool. It seems starting his family on stream. Michael, I wanted to pick up Harley this morning on my way home. Okay, that looks like we're up to date. What would be a perfect day for you? So yeah, I guess I can answer a couple more. I told you guys to stop asking. Sorry, you can ask a couple more. We'll go for 9 more minutes. What would be a perfect day for you if you could do anything or go anywhere? I mean, I think I've said something similar to this before, but I honestly would do like exactly what I'm doing. Like if you asked me like tomorrow what would my perfect day look like, then I would structure I try and live every day as if it's like my perfect day because I have the opportunity to. Like why would I do anything else? Not that like my life is by any means perfect, but that's literally my answer. Like I would do the same thing tomorrow, and that I would do tomorrow anyways. When was the last time you gave up on anything? I mean, I guess most recently, I was doing like this thing where I would do like sprints one morning and then burpees and go play piano the next day, alternating, and I gave up on that, which I kind of want to like start doing something similar to that again because I like that. When was the last time you said I love you and really meant it? That's a good question. Probably talking to my mom. What's your Halloween costume this year? Well, I went to the trick-or-treating dressed as like this internet celebrity guy, like this social media weirdo. How does it feel to be a die-hard fan of Twilight in 2019? We see you reading Breaking Dawn a lot at night. It's good. I feel good about it. I'm a little bit embarrassed that you guys found out. I just hope you don't see like the collection of like action figures and stuff in my closet. For a question, not a question, but please do more piano sessions. Last week was amazing. Thank you, Fez. That's cool. I'll definitely be playing a lot more in the next week, but a lot of it's going to be learning, so it probably won't sound as good or be as fun to watch. But then after I learn all the songs, then I'll be able to play better songs, and it'll be more fun to watch. So give and take. Definitely a good move to take down and work on yourself. Apparently being on here is awesome, by the way. Do you mean chat, at least? What part of your life would make a great movie? What part of my life? God, I don't know. Probably like no parts of my life. All of it is a movie right now, and it's like a really average movie. Average is a stretch. Always took me years to get piano is great, not a question, but thank you. You seriously brightened my day. Thank you, Pauline. Very thoughtful answers. Thanks, Jared. So the way these things go, it's really hard to develop meaningful relationships with people that start out as fans. Do you think it's possible in your case to do that? In my opinion, I don't think it's hard to develop a meaningful relationship with someone that starts out as a fan, because like you're not a fan. This project has like, it can have viewers, but there's no fans. You can be a fan of the project, but you're not a fan of me. Like, unless you only like the videos I make, or you only like the music that I've made, but like those are not the situation here. Like you are watching my life, and if I think that a portion of the people who like reach out to me and like this project just probably have like some similarities, or like see certain things the same way as me, or like they just feel like maybe that we would be friends in a certain, I don't know, I could just be like extrapolating a lot from not a lot of information, but I don't think that's a fan celebrity dynamic at all. So I don't think that it's hard to form meaningful relationships. I think that you're seeing my life, and then like you are making judgments, and then I'm able to like talk to people candidly without any barrier of like stardom or fame, because you're clearly watching that that's not how my life works. Okay, 4 minutes. And my battery is on low. It's going to die soon. So yeah, I think it's possible in my case to do that. No worries, seeing you practice is fun. When you practice piano, does what you play ever reflect your emotional state, or do you decide what to play based on your list of songs? Oh, definitely I choose what to play based on like my emotional state. Yeah. But I don't know if it's like a direct reflection, or if you'd be able to, aside from like big generalizations, really like figure out anything based on what I play. But maybe, I don't know. I haven't obviously analyzed it at all, so I wouldn't know. You guys might be better at telling that than I would be. Yeah, I better get used to it. I want to be friends with everyone. How long will it take for you to get home? Probably another hour or an hour and a half. Did you ever catch your own behaviors that you realize you inherited from either of your parents? Yeah, a lot from my dad. Like less, I think probably less behaviors from my mom, but in terms of like personality traits. But definitely some behaviors, I guess. Like eating and some actions and stuff like that, similar to my mom. Another question, but I watch you sometimes when I'm munching on a box of cereal straight out of the box. I wonder what it'd be like to have 100 people watch me right now. Yeah. It's not that different from not having 100 people watching you. That's that. Good night, everyone. See you later. This is a good Q&A. Thanks, Pauline. Appreciate it. Is there any way to ask for likes to help with algorithms? I don't even know if that helps. I don't know what that YouTube algorithm is anymore, or as if I ever have. Like, I've never known. But clearly it's getting recommended to some people, and that's great. What is the size? How do you feel about people who impose opinions on you about your relationships with people in your life without having a personal relationship with you and knowing very much? I mean, I feel okay about it. It's obviously exactly what you just said. It's them like so a lot of times it's not accurate, but it's not a big deal. That's part of the project. You watch things, and then the reason there's chat is so that people can comment on things, or I guess I found out also to have a community outside of that. But people are going to say things regardless, and so sometimes it's true, oftentimes it's not. It only really irritates me if it's like blatantly untrue, and they could just have like fact checked it within a couple seconds, something like that maybe. Thanks for answering some of my questions. Yeah, thank you, Xenox. Great questions as usual. Josh, talk to you later. Love you all bunches. So I wish you the best, Josh, and I hope that you're able to find what you're looking for internally. Thanks for answering. Thanks for Q&As. Lights are turning off out here. Pick you back to College Station safe, and good night. Thank you for the dedication, stopping for the Q&A. Thank you, guys. You genuinely try to live a simple life. What is the most indulgent thing you enjoy? Probably like YouTube videos. Like social media. Maybe is the most like complicated thing. When is the Filipino reaction? Alright, thanks guys.